Hey Cub Scouts, how y'all doing? This is Mr. Mayor speaking here, and I just got back from a wonderful hiking trip, and I want to show you all the things that I take with me in order to make you survive when you're out there in the backcountry. Okay? And one of the first things you're going to see is I have walking sticks, and they really help me a lot. They help my balance, okay? And it also helps me when I'm walking for my knees and stuff and everything else. I want to show you also down at my feet, I have hiking boots. Okay? The reason why I wear hiking boots and not sneakers or anything is because it helps support my ankles. I'm carrying right now probably close to 40 pounds on my back, and as I'm walking on uneven ground, it helps keeps my ankles nice and straight so I don't end up with a sprain or anything. Okay? The other thing is I also have my backpack is here, and the backpack is I'm carrying right now is an external frame backpack. Okay? And as you turn around, you can see the frame on the outside, all here on the outside. It gives me a little space in between the pack and my back. It helps me from sweating a little bit on my back, which is nice. They also have internal frames, and they lay right up against your back. Some people like those better. It all is a matter of preference. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to the table, and I'm going to start taking out and show you exactly some of the things I take, okay? So here I go. Put these down. Now one of the things about it in a backpack is very important is all your straps and your hip belts, okay? Hip belt is very important, okay? It's all padded, so it's comfortable on me, and it also stays above my hips. So this way here, I have very little weight on my shoulders. If you carried this weight on your shoulders, you wouldn't last very long. Your shoulders would get very sore. So it's very important with your hip belts. All my straps here are adjustable. Easy. I can tighten them up like this if I have to. It brings the shoulder pads in closer, so I'm much more comfortable. If my shoulders get a little sore, I can always loosen this up and let the straps be a little further out. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the pack. First this one, and then my hip belt. Okay? And then I'm going to swing this around and put it down. Now a couple of things to remember is when you're packing for your trip out there, you want to make sure you have a good shelter. So you're going to make sure you have a tent. Okay? Something that'll keep you nice and dry, a place to sleep. Also, you want to make sure that you're comfortable sleeping. And you'll see that I have a pad for sleeping and a sleeping bag so I can stay warm at night. And then the other thing you want to think about is what you're going to take for clothing, because it's very important. Water on the outside of your body is not good, all right? Even in the middle of summer, you can get hypothermia. So what you want to be able to do is take clothes off and put clothes back on and have the right warmth that you need. During the day, it can be pretty warm, and when you're hiking, you're very warm. You want to make sure that you are free so you don't sweat too much. But the other thing too is at night, it gets cold. In the woods, it gets a lot colder than it does around your house. So you want to make sure that you have warm clothing to wear at night. And then you also want to make sure your food, okay? So you make sure you have all the stuff you need to cook your food, right? And you have enough food to eat for the energy and the calories that you're going to burn so you can keep hiking all day. And then you have a bunch of miscellaneous things, like your toothbrush, or you want your toilet paper, and you want to make sure you have maybe a mosquito netting on your head, because sometimes during the summertime and early spring, you have a lot of mosquitoes and black flies. Very uncomfortable. They fly into every part of your ears, your nose, your mouth. So sometimes it's good to have that. So I will now just start and show you what I have. Start on the top, okay? And where you put your stuff is very important. Most of the stuff that I'm not going to need right away is on the inside of my pack. Stuff that I'm going to need right away is either on the top or in my side pockets. I have 2 on each side, and I have 2 right here in the front, which makes it very convenient for me to get at what I need without taking everything out of my pack. So I will loosen this up, and we will open this up. Get this one here. This keeps everything nice and tight, so nothing falls out of your pack while you're. The floor is slippery. Okay, you got it good. All right, so I open up my pack, and I have my pad, my sleeping pad. Keeps you very comfortable. You're sleeping on rocks, it doesn't get very good. And I'm going to tell you, sleeping is very important. You want to make sure you have plenty of rest so you can continue all day. I have my poles for my tent. Because the first thing I'm probably going to do is find a place to set up my tent. So, if I can get it out of the bag. Okay. Let's see which way. I got it in here. It's got to come back out. Oh, I see. Yeah. Let me pull this right on out. Okay, here we go. So now, I have my tent. Okay, and I have the fly in there to put over the tent. And I already have my pole, so I can go ahead and set up my campsite. And then, okay, can do that. Okay. I get my tent all set up. And then I have my sleeping pad, and I'll lay out my sleeping pad. I have my sleeping bag. Now this happens to be a heavy duty sleeping bag because it's like a mummy. It's good for 10 below zero, which is something you really don't need if you're in the summertime. So you might want a little lighter type of sleeping bag that'll be comfortable for you and so big. Okay. Another thing too I always bring with me is my ground pad, and also it's a survival blanket. As you can see, there's silver on the inside to reflect the heat back at me. So we have that, all right, so we can lay that down, all right. I use that under the tent, but if it's cold at night and I find a little chill, I can always wrap up in this. And I can tell you that it works very well. I went camping once in July, around the 4th of July. I was up in the mountains, I was up high, and it got a little colder than I expected. The sleeping bag I had at the time didn't quite handle it. So I took this out from under the tent, I wrapped up in it, and I was fine all night long, nice and comfortable. Okay. Another thing I have here is a bag. Okay. This is my food bag. Okay. What I will do is once I get all set up in camp and I'm all done eating, I put everything in my bag. And then I will close it up tight, put a rope on it, and I will throw the rope over a tree branch and pull it up plenty high enough and tie it off to another tree. This is called like a bear bag. Okay. This way you don't have to worry about animals. I don't really worry too much about the bears, but you have raccoons that are always out and they're looking for something. So you have to make sure that you keep your food in a safe place. And when you do put all your stuff in your bear bag, that includes any toothpaste, any deodorant, or anything else that you might have that has a scent. Okay? All right. Now, we talked about clothing. I'm going to pull some clothing out, and you will see. Okay? I have another pair of shorts here, and I have some socks. Okay? You always have to have another pair of socks because once your feet get a little damp from sweating, you want to be able to change. Wet socks mean blisters, and they do happen. So you want to make sure that doesn't happen. So you want to be able to change your socks. Then what I'll do is I'll take the socks and I'll hang it as I'm hiking on my bag somewhere so they will dry. I also carry with me, I have an extra shirt, okay? And we have a jacket. Okay, now this jacket folds up nice. It's kind of has material so the wind doesn't go through, and it has insulation in it. Okay, so this is very light, folds up very small, and works great. Sometimes you may want a hood. I always like to wear a hat, and that covers my head and keeps my head warm. Okay, so that works good for me. If you take a regular sweatshirt, it's a little bit heavier and a little bit bulkier and takes up more room in my pack. Okay, and then at night, this here is insulated underwear. It's a lightweight, but it's good for the summertime because I'm telling you, at night it gets cold, and it's good to sleep in too, so you can be comfortable when you're sleeping at night. And as you notice, other than my coat here, everything is in a plastic bag. Well, sometimes we have to cross a stream. And the stream isn't only 3 or 4 feet wide. Sometimes that stream can be 20 feet wide. And you gotta hop from rock to rock to rock. But if you slip and fall in, it's not a big deal as long as you're protected so all your clothes stay nice and dry. And this is why I have everything in here. And you can really suck the air out of this thing and really make it nice and small and tight. So that's my spare set of clothing besides what I'm wearing right now. So I always have something to change into and something to stay warm in. All right. And, okay. So now we did that. We got the clothing and we got a place to sleep and we're comfortable. And we have our sleeping bag. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about food. Now food, one thing I always bring, because I always like to have a nice breakfast in the morning. You could take some cereal, say, and you can buy powdered milk. Or you can buy some of the like almond milk, doesn't need refrigeration. And you can do that and you can put that in as well. But I like something nice and hot. So what I'll do is I have what they call a toaster. Maybe some of you have already seen some of this stuff. All right, we can take it out of the bag. And there it is, okay? You turn it over and I set it all up. Look at that, look how nice and quick that goes up. There it is. Now I put toast on there, I put it over my stove, I get toast. As some of you already know, we've been out on overnight, some of the Weeblos and stuff. We do that omelet in a bag. Well, that's sometimes what I'll do. And I bring the eggs with me and stuff. So, some things you have to make sure they don't get squished and they don't get broken. So I have an egg container, okay? And this will open up. Now, so I can, oh, there it is. Right there. It opens up, you put your eggs in there, you can close them up nice and tight, close nice and sealed, and they won't get broken while you're hiking. But also we have to have bread. Now bread is important, but that can get all squished up and everything in your pack. So I always try and get something like a plastic container. Now I can put 6 slices of bread in there, and that's pretty good what I need. I have 2 for a breakfast, if you're going out for a couple of days, and I have 4 more for lunches. Well, you say, whoa. And well, let's get back to the breakfast. And if you want to do like the omelet in a bag or something, what you do ahead of time is you cut up some peppers and onions or whatever you want to put in there, you know, mushrooms, and you put them in a separate bag. All right, this way here, when you go to cook your thing, all you got to do is dump it out. It's easy, it's nice and clean, easy to clean up. So then I have my breakfast and I'm ready to go. All right, but while we're hiking, always remember that we have, let's see if I have it this side. This is, okay, yeah, this is my food side. I always have a little bit of trail mix here, okay? You want to eat that while you're hiking and stuff, gives you a little bit extra energy, stuff. And there it is right there. Nice, it's always good to have trail mix on hand, okay? And then also, for a quick bite along the way, you may want some energy bars. So I have some energy bars here as well, okay? And I have hot chocolate. And I'll get back to that in just a second, okay? Let's talk about lunch. Yeah, I got a couple of squeeze things here. I put one in peanut butter in there and the other one I put jelly in there. I have my extra 4 slices of bread. So for lunch while I'm hiking, if I want to stop and take a quick break, I can make my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the go. Sit down, relax a little bit, enjoy the scenery. It's fantastic, okay? And then, so now I have lunch. Then the only thing I don't have in the pack right now is supper. Now you can do all kinds of stuff for supper. You can bring hot dogs if you want, boiled hot dogs. And you can bring, you know, condiments like mustard and stuff like that. I also have small things like this. See that? If I can put pepper in the top. I turn it around. I can put salt in there or anything else that I want in there. So little containers like this, and they don't take up much room. And you have all the condiments that you need for whatever meal that you're cooking. So, but another thing, so that much takes care of all, you got a supper, you got a couple of lunches, you got a breakfast. Yeah, that's not too bad. But however, let's say something happens. We always have to be prepared for the worst, okay? Let's say you got lost, or no, perhaps you may have sprained an ankle and you're having a hard time walking, okay? And it'll take you longer to get out, you may have to stay another night. What are we gonna do for food? Well, I come in a little bit handy. That's the reason why I have this little package of hot chocolate. I can stop and heat that up and make sure I'm nice and warm. Okay? And I bought some oatmeal. That's easy enough. I got a stove here. I got water, and I'll be able to mix it up, have some of that. Also, instant soup is very good. You can buy it in the packages just like this. All kinds of flavors, instant soup. And you mix it up, and this way here, you'll have nourishment until you can get out of the woods or someone can find you. Okay? So there we go. Our food situation has been taken care of. However, we also have other little things that we have to be prepared for. Okay, let's start in this pocket. I always put stuff in the pockets that I know I could need on the go. Okay, first of all, I have a nice headlamp. Okay, this headlamp is very good. Okay, this is an old one. It's a little bit more bulkier. Today they have the nice LED ones, nice and light, a lot smaller than this one. That's what you want to really go with. Okay, this is probably about a 25-year-old headlamp, but it works and has a lot of light, and it works very well. Okay, so you always want to make sure you have a flashlight of some kind. I like the headlight because this way here, wherever you're looking, you have lights. You don't have to try and hold something and only have one hand to work with. This way you got both hands. When you get back to camp late, set up camp, cook in the dark, you're all set. Okay. Now another thing is very important as you're hiking along. I have toilet paper right there, and I have plenty of toilet paper. And as you can see, everything I wrap up in plastic bags to keep nice and dry. So if anything should happen, falling in water or whatever, you want to make sure that everything stays dry. And then, okay, it's always good to have a pocket knife. I happen to have one of these tools, you know, with pliers and everything else, a multi-tool. That comes in handy, okay? So you always want to make sure you have something on that idea. Okay, now let's go a little bit further. Okay, now I have a toothbrush. This one here is actually my camping backpacking one. It's not very big. Okay, I'll take it out of the bag so I can show you. Okay, and we have toothpaste. What I do is I take the cover off and screw it right on to the tube of toothpaste, squeeze it, and it fills this right up nice. You want to make sure, though, every so often you clean all the excess out of it because you don't want it sitting around there all that long. And then I have a toothbrush right here, and there it is. It's all set. All right? And I just put it in, and I'm all set, and I have my toothpaste. Always good to have toothpaste and that. Okay. What else do we have in here? Okay, I have an extra flashlight just in case. Yeah, nice. We can shine it up. There it is. Okay. So it's always good to have a spare one just in case. And I talked about, okay, this is my headset. This is my net that I put over for the bugs. Okay, so what we can do is I'll open this up a little bit. And, okay, and this is it right here. It's got ties and everything. I can put this right over my hat, all right? So it's not up against my face, and I can tie it off just like that. Now the bugs won't bother me whatsoever, okay? Yeah, one time I was eating, I tried to do some eating with all the bugs. The mayflies were so thick, it was unbelievable. So I had to go take a spoonful of food, go in like this, and then take it out and put my thing so the bugs didn't get inside. And sometimes it works that way. And again, too, at night, before you go to bed, you always want to look around the tent and make sure you don't have any extra visitors in there, like mosquitoes and stuff, because they like to bite you all night long. Okay, there you go. Very important. Now, another thing we have here is, this is my first aid kit, okay? Just a single one, okay? And I can open it up, okay? And it has all kinds of stuff in here. I have moleskin in here as well, okay? I have some ibuprofen, but that's just in case of pain and stuff. I have Band-Aids. I have all kinds of pads in there. I have iodine in there for a cut. Everything is all right there. And it's in a plastic case, and it fits very tight, and it's not going to fill up with water if I, for some reason, should fall into a stream or something. Look how nice and close that is, okay? Very nice. Doesn't take up much room, and you have plenty of stuff just in case. Now, and when we, okay, sometimes if we're going to start a little fire, I try to use a personal stove most of the time, which I'll show you shortly, okay? But if that didn't work and I had to build a fire, I have a fire starter here, a little lint from the dryer. I build it up and put it in a plastic bag so it stays good. And I have waterproof matches in here, okay? So I can always be able to start the fire. Plus I also have to start the personal stove as well, so I'm going to need matches for that. Yeah, what else we have in here? Okay, now I have some soap. It's always good to have soap. This is camp soap. It's biodegradable. We don't want to pollute the wilderness at all. I happen to like the liquid type because I can use it both for cleaning my any pots and pans that I could have had. Or I can also use it for washing up. Okay, so that's the one I like the best. But you can also buy it in the tube. This is also campus soap. It's a little bit smaller, okay? But it comes out like in a paste type thing, and you can wash up with it. But it doesn't work as well when you're trying to wash a dish or something, or a pot or something that's dirty, because you will have that occasionally. Alrighty. Okay, I always bring a little aluminum foil. It's very handy. It's good for reflecting heat back, okay? But also you could fold this up just right and you can make a little pot out of it. So if for some reason you couldn't do it with a pot, it's plenty of here to do whatever I need. It's always good to have a little bit of aluminum foil just in case. Okay. Okay. And one thing I always like to do is make sure I bring a compass. I have several compasses on me, but this is the one that you use for on the side. So you get it open. Anyways, of course it would, if you're going to use it, it's good to get it open. I don't understand why it's not opening. But anyways, I had it open. There it is. Got it open. So there you go. That's a map compass. Okay? As you can see, it's got a hairline wire right there. And that way you can line up where you're headed and you can see the direction that you're heading in, so you can always get back. Okay? But that's another whole thing in map reading and doing all that. You learn that in Boy Scouts, okay, and what to do. But it's always good to have a compass, okay? All right, now that we did all that, we have to have somehow, I have my rope. Remember I told you about the bear bag? We put all our food in it. I can tie up the bag and throw the rope up over. I'll take a stick, tie it to a stick and throw it up kind of high over a branch, and so you can pull it up and be safe. You can use this for many different things, okay? So it's always good to have some rope with you. Okay, and then, again, I told you about water. We don't want to have too much water on the outside. Sweat is not good, okay? So what we want to do is if it's raining, we want to kind of keep dry as well. So I have a pair of rain pants here, okay? A lot of times when it's raining, it's not raining that hard, so I don't always wear the pants, but it's good to have it if it's really, really coming down, okay? And then also, I have this one here. Sometimes I just wear a jacket, raincoat. This one here is a poncho. This one has the hood, folds up nice and small, plenty big enough, covers your legs, everything else here. There you go. So you just put it over you, and you can do it, okay? And it works good. So you got to have a raincoat. Very important, because rain can get really cold in the summertime, and you don't want to have it chilled. All right. Now, another thing I always carry with me is something. If I have to, for some reason, start a fire, maybe I can't always get small enough timber, so I can always open it up and cut a piece of wood with it. Okay. See what it is?
What is it?
Okay, and then it comes down and locks in place, and I can cut, I don't want it too big. I'm not trying to cut down a tree or anything, but you want it big enough, and then the wood will last a little bit longer if the wood's a good size and keep you warm during the night. So I like that. Okay, so I always bring one of them with me. Okay, now another thing is when we're trying to keep everything dry, well, we talked about possibly falling in a stream or something. Well, what about if it's raining? What happens to your pack? Well, for the most part, the pack is waterproof, but it doesn't protect everything. So what I do is I have a raincoat for my pack. Okay? There it is, okay? And what I'll do is I'll get it and I'll put it all over here. And this way I can put it down and hook it underneath my bag. And my sleeping bag won't get wet because I know that this is, yeah, they say it's waterproof, but your bag won't get wet. So you want to make sure your sleeping bag doesn't get wet. It's no fun sleeping in a wet sleeping bag. Okay? So that's my little raincoat for my backpack. Okay. Now, we talked about food. How are we going to cook our food? Well, we have to have a stove. And this is where I come up with this stove right here. Okay? This is called a Jetboil. And it's all contained. I don't just notice so far. Okay? I can take this out like this. And we do is we open this up like that. Okay? And then I can take this and open this up. And look at that. I have fuel. And that fits right on there really nice. Like that. And then we can take this and we take it and we screw it on like this. Let's see if we can get it on there. There we go. Yeah. Yep. Now I just penetrated the gas thing. So when I turn it on, the gas will come up and I can light it. Okay. And then I put this here. So this gets it up kind of high so I don't have my stuff right on the flame. All right, it goes in there. Yeah. And then I can take this and I can put it right on there. Something's oh, I see, it's not locked in there. There it is. That's better. Now it's flat. Yeah. And then I have a cover to cover it. Now I can put water in there. I can boil water in about 3 minutes. Fill this right up. In 3 minutes it's boiling. But if I can do also is at supper, like I said, sometimes you can boil a hot dog in there. I sometimes like to take American chop suey and I heat it up in there, put a little bit of water so I don't burn it. And you heat it right up, American chop suey at night. That's fantastic. All those nice carbs fill up to date so you can be ready for tomorrow. So there's my stove right there, and it cooks everything. This is my pot right here. So this is the only thing I have to clean. So I just clean the pot. Supper's all done. I can go do explore, or I can go to bed, or whatever the case may be. Okay? All right. And sometimes it's hard to tell whether that's full or empty, so I always carry a spare, just in case. I don't want to run out of fuel. Okay. Now another important thing about it is, well, this is down here in the bottom. This, by the way, is my pillow. I was out at Eastern Mountain Sports one time with my wife, and we saw this, and we said, yeah, we can sleep and have a half decent pillow, okay? Instead of putting all your clothes underneath there trying to do it. Look at that, huh? And guess what? You can blow this right up. You blow it up right there. It blows up really nice. It feels really soft. I'm telling you, this is really nice. And look how it took up hardly any room at all in my bag. And like I said, sleeping is very, very important when you're out there because you're going to be exhausted by the end of the day, hiking all day. So you want to make sure you sleep well so you're ready for the next day. Okay? Now, sometimes after you heat up some water for yourself or whatever, you put it separate. You may want to wash up a little bit or go down to the stream. This is one of those absorbent towels. Look at the size of that thing. It took up hardly any room at all. And it'll dry you up nice and everything. So I always like to have a towel with me just in case. All the comforts are home. All right. But now, in the meantime, where are you going to get this water that you're going to fill up all your stuff in here or your canteens for the water bottles for the next day? Where do we get the water? Well, one of the things you do is when I go out on a trip, I just wanted to show you. I brought this with me just in case. Okay, so I can show you. I have maps. I have lots of maps of the area that I want to hike in, and I find a trail that I want to find. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll look to see how much where the water is, the streams, because it shows you all the streams on the map. And this way here, I always camp close to a stream, not too close. You want to stay at least 200 feet away from a stream. Okay, so I'll find a place to camp, and this way here I can get down to the water, and I can get water from the stream. But you don't want to drink water right from the stream today. All right, you don't know what's in the water. You know, the animals could be upstream and doing their business and stuff, and it's coming downstream. You don't want that in your water. So what I do is I have a water filter. Now there are many water filters out there, and they range, and most of them for the most part work very good. And they will work usually down to about 5 microns, which is pretty good. And it takes care of all the bacteria that might be in the water that could give you problems, you know, and everything. So this is my water filter, excuse me, right here. And what I do is I put it, yeah, there it is right there. I'll put it on right there, okay? And then I throw this, and it's got a little float, so it doesn't on the bottom of the stream and get sand and stuff in your water bottle. And I leave it there, and I go like this. And it pumps it through a filter right here. But one of the things is, how are you going to hold something while it works? Okay? Now what I have here is a water bag. They call it an Andromeda bag, okay? But it's waterproof. And what you have to do is, I soak it in water first, okay? Just like it is. And I take the cap off, and then I can take it and I screw it right onto the water bottle like that, to the filter. Hands-free, I can fill this whole bag up, okay? Fill up my water bottles, and I go back to camp. So while I'm back at camp, I need water to fill up for my food. Well, what you do is, this cover is very handy. I hang this from a branch. Well, my water's right here. So I can either have a little stream of water, I open that up like that, and a little stream of water will come out. Or if I'm filling up a bigger pot, and I don't want to take the time for the stream, I take this cover off, and I have a much bigger opening, and the water comes out much faster. Okay? So that's very handy. So now I have water, all set, and ready to go, nice and clean. Okay? And you also want to make sure you have enough containers. Now I always have these 2 water bottles with me all the time on both sides. So when I'm out on a hike, I'm pretty good. If I should run out of water for some reason, and I'm near a stream, I can always break out my water filter and fill my bottles up again. So always have plenty.